Are you ready?
My coach, Barbara H. Smith. Why did I hire her? Because she's the best.
Barbara H. Smith is a powerhouse. She just walks in the room and grabs your attention, and she does that in a way that just makes you feel loved and like she's paying attention to you. She cares about you, and she wants to see you be your best self.
She was able to dig inside and find the passion that was deep within me.
Barbara's energy is one of the reasons that I had to have her as my coach. I love the way she is real with people.
The reason I felt like I needed a coach was because I have some big goals and I needed to build my confidence. I knew that Barbara could help me do that.
I felt that I could trust her.
I would definitely recommend to get coaching from Barbara H. Smith if you feel like you need to level up your confidence. She would just help you feel like bold, like you can take on the world.
She has really shown me who I am. She has changed my mindset to a place that I know that I am more powerful today than I would have ever been if I had never met Barbara Smith.
Yeah. Here we go. It is the Barbara H. Smith Show. Good night, good evening, great rising. So glad you're here tonight. We have a power-packed show tonight. I'm so excited. Yeah, I know you'll always say that. Yes, but tonight we have a phenomenal lineup for you. But first, why do we do the Barbara H. Smith Show? It is a showcase for small businesses that might not naturally and normally have a place to show their services and products. And so we bring them on to the Barbara H. Smith Show. We talk some about life, but we mostly talk about how they became business owners. Why? Because we want to expose their wares, their theme, their mission, their calling to the world. And we expose that on the IBM TV network with over 200 countries viewing. Yes, that's right. And we have a phenomenally fun time. But I want to thank some folks, as usual. You know, you can't do this all by yourself. And so I want to thank those folks that stand behind me week after week, all of the fans out there. I want to thank Dr. Eric Kelly III, who has been instrumental in my even having a TV show. Mark Lee, behind the scenes, always there, always ready, always on guard. And my mom, who's always by my side, and my husband on the left, my mom's on the right. They boost me up. They keep me going. My children, grandchildren, everybody that's in my family is ecstatic about the Barbara H. Smith Show. Now, what do we got coming up? We've got some great things coming up. You notice that there is no VIP session tonight. It will be next week on December the 21st at 9:15 p.m. right after the show. I'll give you those details a little later in the show. In addition, there's a new book out. Yes, Barbara H. Smith has another book. It's a journal this time, and it is available on Amazon.com. Check it out. 365 days, level up your life. And we still have the Speak Coach Train book out there. If you're looking to increase your speaking ability, and remember this, you may say, I'm not a speaker, I'm not a talker. Guess what? Every communication is a presentation. So you have to be able to communicate well. Well, after all of that, I want to bring up somebody who's near and dear to me, the person that keeps me straight, the CIO of BHS LLC, Miss Shawnee Smith.
Good evening. I'm so excited to be here tonight. So excited.
So glad you're here. Shawnee keeps me straight. She is the CIO, that is Chief Image Officer. And what are your duties, Miss Shawnee? You want to tell the audience what you do for the organization?
I am standing here behind the scenes sometimes, in front of the camera sometimes, making sure that everything is together like how you would like it to be, how I know it should be. So We're
And
trying
she
to keep everyone happy here.
keeps all of us in line. Trust me, I tell you. Thank you so much, Shawnee, for everything you do. You are a pivotal person in the organization. You keep the BHS show going all the time with all of what you do behind the scenes. I appreciate you, Carl, all of the team, Ernest, Billy Graham Jr., everybody that's on the team. I appreciate all the hard work you guys do behind the scenes to keep things going, even when I'm not in the country. So, with that being said, did I miss anything, Shawnee?
You did not. You
Oh.
did not miss anything other than the importance of stressing. Next Tuesday night at 9:15. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss.
And I see you're wearing some phenomenal jewelry around your neck. I'm a little bit jealous today. What's going on? What's going
You
on?
should not be, because I got this from the fabulous Karen Ogala out of Nairobi, Kenya, by way of the Barbara H. Smith. So
Well, I thank you so much.
piece. This makes
Yes.
me feel I have so many Wakanda vibes, and I just feel like this is what I should be in right now. So for sure.
I am loving it. I am loving it. Well, let us get started with our first guest. Oh, I'm so excited. Do you know that this lady has a line of clothing, and she specialized in licensed apparel for the Negro Leagues, the Buffalo Soldiers, and the Tuskegee Airmen, focusing on not just the history of these heroic groups and individuals, but their impact and contributions that they had on America. She's a graduate of Shaw University, a member of Delta Sigma Theta sorority, and a member of the African American Museum Association. She's been working in diversity, equity, and inclusion for 20 plus years, specifically focused on the achievements of people of color in sports and in the military. Her background is hotel management, with my favorite, the Marriott. She spent 13 years learning the ground up and how to understand the basic workings of a business, but most importantly, how to listen. Her business gave her a unique opportunity and to spend a lot of time with people who actually created the history that she was representing. They're not just names in a book. They become her friends and her family. And she heard the backstories to their accomplishments and has the ability to get those stories in front of the people that would not otherwise know them or hear them. Her company's mission statement: empowering our future by honoring and preserving our past. And Kimberly Green spends each and every day focusing on just that. Help me welcome to the show, Kimberly Green.
Hi, my name is Kim Green, and I am one of the founders of Black, Bases Loaded, Authentic Clothing and Caps, spelled with a K. We have the distinct pleasure every day of introducing the world to people that have had a tremendous impact on our country. In doing so, we're allowing the accomplishments of these groups to both be celebrated and acknowledged, while our customers are provided the opportunity to commemorate them with high quality and stylish attire. Black specializes in licensed apparel for Negro League Baseball, Buffalo Soldiers, and the Tuskegee Airmen. We started Black to act as an educational partner to museums nationwide, to not only inform everyday Americans on Black history, but to celebrate the individuals that played on segregated sports teams and served in segregated units of the military. The problem we're solving is twofold. One, Black history, which is American history, has been excluded from the core curriculum in our children's schools. And two, when we started the company, it was and really still is hard to find high quality Black history apparel. Our goal is to change both of those things.
Welcome. Kimberly
Thank
Green.
you, Queens. Wonderful to be here.
It's good to have you here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited to see all of what you have. But first, I want to break down that acronym, BLACK.
It stands for Bases Loaded, Authentic Clothing and Caps with a K. When we first started, the business was just Negro League Baseball, and we actually used to go by Bases Loaded. But as time went on, and we dealt more with people, they were like, why are you limiting the business to just the Negro League? Because there's so many different elements of Black history. So we began to do the licensing for the Buffalo Soldiers, the Tuskegee Airmen, the Triple Nickels, the 761st Tank Battalion. And then it was like, we're no longer just baseball. So we just went to Black because everything is Black.
That
And
is so awesome.
Black is easier to remember.
But it has a ring to it when you spell it out what it is and how you maneuver in the space.
Exactly.
And so what I want people to know is that it's not just about the apparel, although we're going to get to see some apparel, I hope, today. Yeah.
I think I might have a little something. I can show.
And
like that.
Kim has some special that she's going to talk to you in a little while, but I want to talk more to you about how you even started with Black.
It's funny because that's a question that people ask all the time, and I'm gonna paint you a quick picture.
Okay.
Have you ever had a scenario where there's somebody that you love and you want to buy them something, but they have everything, they don't need anything, they're hard to shop for, like it's impossible, but then on a fluke you're having a conversation with them and they're like, they slip and tell you, you know what, I wouldn't mind having a blank. You get all excited. You're like, finally, I know something. I found something. So you go online and you start calling people and then you find whatever that item is. And you're excited about it and you order it and you pay for it and you're just like, yes, I finally got them. It comes to the mail. It comes through the mail. You get it. You open it up. You're like full of excitement and wonder. And you look in the box and it's absolute garbage.
Oh, man.
This is what happened. I bought my love a Negro League sweatshirt. He'd been looking for it, and I was so excited. And it was hard to find because when we started, it wasn't really internet prevalent. So I made some calls. They mailed me a catalog, like the whole thing. And when I got it, and I slipped up in my excitement and told him about it. So we're both, I was like, well, we'll just open it together because I didn't even look at it.
Oh
And
my God.
Right, that part. So I opened up the box and we were both like,
what is
what
this?
is this? Exactly. It wasn't good quality. The sweatshirt wasn't good quality. It wasn't even like embroidered. It was like kind of an iron-on silk screen kind of combination thing. And we're both like, man, he was like, thanks, I appreciate it. And still has it to this day. But it was one thing that we recognized was it's really hard to find anything Black history related on quality material.
Right.
And that's really kind of what started it. Now there's more of a story to it, obviously, but that's what inspired it. It was like, you know what? We want to be able to have as rich as our history is, and as quality and as value as it is, you want to have product that can represent it.
Yeah. And I've seen at least pictures of some of the quality and you can't match it. It's just, you hit the nail on the head when you said somebody that has everything. I mean, what do you get this person, right? And then to be disappointed. Now, I think I would have took a sneak peek before giving it to him because that's almost hurtful.
I took a peek, but I just like looked at it and was like, oh, okay. But I didn't. I've learned since then, clearly.
Yeah. To examine, right?
Right.
So what makes your business different than other businesses now? There's all kinds of African history memorabilia out there. People are stepping up and doing cards and baseball cards with our players on them and all kinds of different artifacts. What makes your business different?
One thing that I like about it is everybody has a product that may or may not have a story behind it.
Right.
We have a story that has product that represents it. So it's not just hey, let me just go buy this hat. It's let me tell you the story of the Negro Leagues. Let me tell you the story of it. And people are like, wow, that's awesome. Do you have something that I can wear that I can take away? So they have a takeaway from that story. Right. So while the focus obviously is the promotion of the product, the emphasis is on the story behind it, because I won't allow anyone to buy something, especially if we're dealing in person. I won't
Right.
allow you to walk away from me without knowing something about what you're wearing. I won't give you like, the whole full, encyclopedia. But if anybody asks you, well, what is that? Well,
Yeah.
who is, like I have my New York Black Yankees hat on. People are like, the Black Yankees, was that real? Yes. Let me tell you a little something about it.
Yeah,
And
tell
and
us
that's
a little
what that's huh?
tell us a little something about the New York Black Yankees. I want to know that.
See, and it's funny because I'll give you a little blurb because I actually
Okay.
have like on my YouTube page, I do something called History Bites, which are like 3-minute little videos about different elements, like cool things that I found out about the teams and things.
Right.
But the Black Yankees actually were a real team. They would play in New York. And one of the cool things about them was, I don't know which way to turn my head, this way. You see the derby that's on the Y?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
team was actually owned by Mr. Bill Bojangles Robinson, the tap dancer that used to be with Shirley Temple.
Yes,
He was
I know.
Wow.
he was a businessman and a big baseball lover. And so when they did the logo, the derby was actually done as a tribute to him.
Wow.
The team itself was not like phenomenal. They were a decent team, but they were in competition with a lot of others because in New York at that time, it wasn't just the Black Yankees. You had the New York Cubans, you had the Brooklyn Royal Giants, you had the Harlem Stars actually ended up becoming the Black Yankees, but they were constantly competing with other teams, but it was just the history and just the stories behind them. It's like, man. But the Black Yankees actually now is popular primarily just because of the popularity of the current Yankees and people like the little derby.
Yeah, and being from New York, I really never knew that. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
And the next thing I want to know, Shani has a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to, well, you kind of threw me for a loop there with that alone. How many teams were there in New York?
Well, it depends on if you're talking major league. The ones that were considered, I guess, major of the Negro Leagues were the ones I mentioned, the Black Yankees, the Brooklyn Royal Giants. There was originally the Harlem Stars, which before that they were the New York Lincoln Giants, which became the Harlem Stars, which became the Black Yankees. So one of the challenges that we have is it's hard to really say how many teams were anywhere because just with the times, it wasn't like it is now where if you're a member of a team, if another team said, hey, I'll give you an extra $20 a week, they would hop. Players would hop from team to team and teams would fold, or if they just ran out of money or for whatever reason, a lot of times this team may have only lasted a season or a year, or they may have stayed in one place and then relocated. So it's hard to really have like a hard, solid number because there was so much fluidity in how they moved.
That's so good. That's so good. And what I love about this conversation is you are obviously well versed on all of the history that you're talking about and all of what you sell. But what I want to know is, I grew up in the technology era as a profession. It was totally male dominated. Not only male dominated, but white male dominated.
Right.
And then here I come. And I don't know if you noticed that I'm not white. Just saying.
I think I noticed it yesterday.
I thought you were just tan.
And I'm also, I don't know if you noticed that either. I mean, I do have a short haircut, that I'm not a male. And it's hard being a female, not only a female, but a Black female in a male-dominated arena. So tell me, this is totally sports and memorabilia, all of that's male-dominated. How did you maneuver?
It's funny because I kind of feel like it's my superpower.
Ooh.
Because one thing that we just as women in general tend to be underestimated. And
wait, don't do don't nowhere. Say that again.
And
slow for the people in the back. There's people in the back.
I love that. Do not sleep on
Don't
me.
sleep on my skills. Don't sleep on my skills.
Exactly. And people will come and see, and it's a trifold. Now, one of the things, even before I get to what I was just about to say, is I don't just do Black focused events. 85% of when we're doing in-person events, well, pre-COVID, because we're now gradually building back into that.
Right.
But 85% of what we do is actually jazz festivals. So obviously those are predominantly us. It's a certain education level, it's certain color, it's all of that. But we also do Major League Baseball stadiums. If you go to a major league game, 80% of the people do not look like us. I do military bases. I do VA hospitals. So I'm not limited to just a specific demographic.
Right.
Now, I say that because I'm a Black woman. So since I'm Black, I know nothing about history, okay? Because we don't know our history. I'm a woman. I don't know anything about sports. I don't know anything about the military. And I'm a Black woman. So people think, you know, I'm 18 years old working for Mr. Charlie. So they like to come up and challenge me, you know, especially if, you know, I'm at the VA and they don't have anything better to do between appointments. So it gives me an opportunity to allow them to come and say foolish things and then educate them. Because it's not, you know, I tell people that this is my business, but it actually literally is my life. There are people that I'm representing. Like, I can't have on a Negro League jacket and then go to the Negro League Museum or go to the home of some of the players and not know what I'm talking about, because I'm representing their legacy.
Yes.
So it's different.
It's
That's really what stands out. Again, I can't be at a Tuskegee Airmen convention with the people that created the history that I'm celebrating, and then be like, yeah, didn't y'all what y'all done did? Like, I have to be able to really tell it. And I love the fact that so many times we're underestimated. But even taking that to the next level, being able to share about the accomplishments that we as women had as part of the Negro League, as part of the Buffalo Soldiers, as part of the Tuskegee Airmen, because it's not taught, it's not known. And, you know, we can't celebrate anything we didn't know existed.
I am loving that. I am loving that. Mama, my mama made it.
Loving this.
I am. My mama made it is on. Hello, everyone, she says. Thank you for being on. My mama made it. And Teresa Haskett is on. Thank you so much, Teresa, for being here. She's showing up, and Mama Made It is showing up almost every week, just coming in to see what kind of phenomenal guests we have. And we have Kimberly Green. She is a phenom in Black history, and specifically some of the Negro Leagues. Give us your information, Kimberly. How can we reach you? How can we touch you? How can we get what you have to see and feel and touch?
Well, if you go online, the website, which is also, I believe, listed under my name, is blackbeforeyou.com. So it's black, letter B, number 4, letter U.com. I said, if you can't remember it, Black Before You, like your history, or Black Before You, like the stuff before you, you know, however you want to remember it. And also all social media, Black Before You on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Or just Google Black Before You. You'll find me in 1,000 different ways.
That's amazing. And I want to just give a shout out to the Black Business Expo USA, which is where we found Kimberly Green, as well as Shawnee Smith, and so as well as Barbara H. Smith. But anyway, we are all part of the phenom called the Black Business Expo USA, and it's coming up soon. It's coming up soon. Again in January, I believe, and we'll have dates for you about that. But thank you so much again for Kimberly Green for being here. Look at that. Karen Green said, "That's my lovely niece." Educate him, Kim. That's right. And that's exactly what she's doing, Miss Karen Green. She is educating us on what's going on in Black history. Now, why does Black history matter?
Because it's relevant to everything. And it's funny, even in this current environment, you know, people are like, oh, Black history is. I want it to get to a point where it's not Black history. It's just history. Just like, you know, I'm going to history class.
Right.
Because people don't realize how it all ties in, like everything ties into everything, but you don't stop to think about it. You know, people are like, I don't want to talk about, you know, the Buffalo Soldiers, for example. Their job was to help protect the settlers as they headed west. If there were no Buffalo Soldiers to protect these settlers, and that's a whole other conversation we're not gonna really get into on to why that had to happen, but the West would not have been settled, okay? If it wasn't for Tuskegee Airmen, who were the only group who was dedicated to making sure that they protected those bombers, most likely we would have lost World War II, because getting those bombers across to the other country, across the ocean, was crucial.
And we didn't lose one bomber.
We didn't lose one bomber.
One soldier, not one.
Exactly. you know, so there's, you better
You
preach.
got excited there for a second.
You know, but even with the Negro League, you know, people talk about the integration. Negro League was the beginning of integration. You know, started with baseball, then went to basketball. But if you talk to anybody, anybody's favorite athlete, at least one of them is going to be Black. You know, so it's like there were different elements of everything that we've done. On some level, Black history is a part of. You know, whether you want it to be or not. You know, and it's a matter of not wanting it to have to be Black history because it's American history, you know,
Yeah,
and
Totally.
it's important.
it just
I have,
it just is.
I have to ask you, Kimberly, because you are so passionate about educating. Do you take a different approach when you're talking to, say, someone Black versus someone white? Do you feel like you have to do more of a background
Nope.
of the history before you explain what the item is or what the background is behind it?
It kind of depends on what it is. Now I say nope because I don't take a different approach. Because one thing I've noticed that we just as a people, if we're talking about something, if somebody that is not Black comes around, our conversation changes, our tone
Right.
changes,
Yeah.
our demeanor changes.
Yeah.
But they don't do that for us. You know, if they're talking about something and we come up, they don't change anything. So I'm not going to do that either. Now I will change depending on how I'm approached, will change my presentation. You know, some will come up and be like, oh my God, you've got the Negro League, Satchel Paige was awesome, Josh Gibson, and want to talk about baseball, especially if we're doing a baseball stadium.
Right.
All they want to do is talk about the history. If I'm on a military base or at the VA, you know, a lot of the old soldiers will come up and talk about, you know, my granddaddy, you know, or this or that. There's a story, remind me later, that I'll tell you about a gentleman when he was buying a Tuskegee Airman hat. So the conversation will be a little different. Some come and just don't know. And they're like, oh, this is these are the teams from the, because they're not sure if they can say Negro. So, and that's real.
It is real.
And so I
It
said,
is
you know,
real.
well, these are the Black baseball teams. It was called the Negro League. And they'll be really curious and want the information. But because of how political everything is now, they're not really sure how to ask the question. You know, and then I'll have the ones that are just mad because everything I have is Black. And they'll want to, you know, be combative. And those conversations are fun too. You know, but just being able to tell people whether they're Black, because I've had Black people that have come and asked, is the Negro League still around? And I'm like, no, we're allowed to play with them now. You know, so you have to.
I love that.
You have to be able to meet people on their level.
That was good.
And that's come with years of, and that's what my hotel background helps. Because, you know, I'll have the people that only come in on the weekend and have never stayed at a hotel before or have never stayed at a Marriott before. But I'm also dealing with the CEO of IBM who wants to let me know how important it is. So you have to be able to provide the same service, but meet people on their level where if you know nothing or if you know everything or if you think you're this or that, then we can still be successful together based on whatever it is, however it is that you're coming at me. I'm going to give you back that same energy.
Yeah, you got to meet them where they are. Here's
Right.
what's interesting. I was in Africa, as many of you know, not too long ago, and Dr. West was along with us, and he told this story about how the first time he went, he called back to his mother and he said, "Mama, I realized one thing since I've been here, and that is I'm a man." And she was like, "Son, there's something you want to tell me?" And he said, "No, I realized I'm a man." And she says, "Well, explain what you mean." And he said, "In America, I'm a Black man. But in Kenya, I'm a man, just a man." And so that power of the distinction of being either Black or white, again, they don't classify, I've been to Kenya twice, they don't classify them as Black Kenyans or brown Kenyans or light Kenyans or dark Kenyans. Everyone is simply Kenyan. And what breaks my heart is to come back to America, and I'm not just proud to be an American. I have to be a Black woman. I have to be a Black American. I have to be an African American, the only race on the planet who still doesn't know what to call themselves.
Right.
We used to call ourselves Negroes. Now we call ourselves Black. Now we call ourselves Black Americans. Now African Americans. I'm not from Africa. Can we just agree that we're Americans? Period. And so that's hurt. That to me was hurtful as well as enlightening. We take everything as a color scheme, a color in a Crayola box. And so you're having to explain Black history, even to us, because we don't know our own history. If we knew our own history, many of us would not. Come on, say it again.
We'd embrace it.
Yes. We would embrace
you saying that, I'm gonna drop just a little piece of something on you. You didn't ask me this, but I'm gonna just take the liberty, because you're talking about the history and you're talking about being Black and talking about us not knowing. But do you know how much we did? And I say we, I mean we as women.
Man.
Who it's not even known, and they're little things. We talk about our persistence and our dedication and how sometimes you got to be creative. Did you know that there was a female Buffalo Soldier?
No.
There was a woman, her name was Kathy Williams, who wanted so bad to have the opportunity. I'm not going to tell the whole story. It's Googleable. But she wanted so bad to have the opportunity to serve and to be a soldier that she changed her name from from Kathy Williams to William Kathy. And she served as a Buffalo Soldier for 2 years before they found out she was a man.
Before they discovered it.
For 2 years. And
good.
I tell people, I said, I'm not girly. I feel like, I'm kind of tough. But let a scorpion come up my leg and think that they would not immediately be like, oh, they thought I was a dude until that scorpion came crawling. I don't think I could have held it down for 2 years,
I know she did.
But then I think about things like with the Tuskegee Airmen. And there's different stories that I tell, all the time. But there's one, Lieutenant Willa Brown, who was a huge fan of Bessie Coleman. And she wanted to be able to, she just admired her. She ended up becoming the first Black female master mechanic and pilot, because Bessie Coleman couldn't get her license here. She had to get it overseas.
Right.
They wouldn't, and her husband, her meaning Lieutenant Willa Brown, opened up a aeronautical school. And the Army would not allow her to train soldiers for the Army, but they did allow her to send airmen to Tuskegee, and her aeronautical school sent 200 pilots to Tuskegee for the training program. People don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know. There's a whole lot. Yeah, there's a whole lot. And we're going to talk about much, much more than that when we come back from the break. Thank you so much, Kimberly Green, for being here. Thank you so much for all of your knowledge and your sharing with us. And we'll be right back after the break. Don't you go anywhere. We're coming right back.
Thank you.
Engage, inspire, empower. That's what I help you do as a celebrity, speaker, trainer, and coach. Hi, I'm Barbara H. Smith, known as the Masterful Presenter. I am the one that can help you dig deep inside your passions and deep inside your life to get you to the place you always dreamed.
I have the pleasure of hearing Miss Barbara Holmes Smith speak today, and just from her speaking to me today, I have realized that I need to have personalize my alter ego and be able to put myself out there a lot more.
I help through speaking techniques, teaching you how to use your words and your body language to inspire people to come up higher.
Today's presentation with Ms. Barbara was just outstanding. She has really helped me with her personality, with her being so genuine and passionate about what she believes in and helping to coach, train. Her sense of humor, her energy is just incredible.
How do I do that? By coaching and speaking and training. I help you with whatever it is that you want to do next. What is your next? Are you ready to take your life, your career to the next level? I can get you there. Contact me at www.barbarahsmith.com.
I might be able to talk if I took my mic off mute. Yeah, about that. Anyway, so glad to be back. We're back. And it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. All through the town. Even my nails look like Christmas. I want to give a shout out for those ladies down at Nailed It on Work Boulevard in Hampton. I'm sorry, Newport News. If you're in the 757, stop by and see me. She did my nails. Nene, thank you so much. I appreciate you. They know that I don't do all kinds of crazy stuff, but it is Christmas after all. So, speaking of Christmas, we want to talk to Miss Kimberly Green about her gift that she's giving to the folks that are tuning in to the Barbara H. Smith Show. Kimberly, what you got for us?
Well, just because I love you guys, today and tomorrow, anyone who goes to my website, blackbeforeyou.com, all apparel will be 20% off. And you just put in coupon code BHS for Barbara H. Smith. So jerseys, jackets, hats, anything that you need. The only thing that's not good for is black baby dolls, which I haven't talked to you about. I make black dolls as well. That's the only thing that does not apply to, but it's good for today through Thursday. And I saw actually on the news just before I logged on that tomorrow is actually the last day. UPS and FedEx are saying for ground shipping, tomorrow's the last day for guaranteed by Christmas. So depending on you, I'm currently operating out of New Jersey. So anything on the East Coast will still get here in the next couple of days. My California shipments, I'm trying to make sure that all of those are done by Thursday to make sure that they're in time for Christmas.
Do you ship internationally?
I do ship internationally. I just have to do a different process. It won't allow you to go on the website. I haven't figured out how to switch the website over. But international, I actually just sent a jacket to Poland last week. So those I basically have to, people will request and then I just have to invoice it and I have to just set it up separately. But yeah, I ship anywhere.
Awesome. Now you kind of glazed over this black doll thing. Now I have a 9-year-old, so I need you to do more than glaze over that. Talk to me about this. I need this.
Well, the dolls, if you're looking on the site, there's a tab on there that says Black Baby Dolls. And I've been doing them probably about 9 years. Really what started it was back in like the 50s, there was like the Brown doll study. And what they would do is they would put a black doll and a white doll in front of kids and say, who's the nice doll? Who's the smart doll? Who's the, and the black kids would always go, who's the nice doll? White doll. Who's the friendly? Who's the happy? Who's the smart? And they say, well, which one looks like you? And then they point to the black doll. And there was really no representation of black dolls. Yeah. In a positive way. Even I grew up with nothing, and even now there's like Christy, which is just basically Barbie painted black, but we have different shades, size. We come in different shades. We have different features. We have different eyes. We have different hair. And I wanted to be able to allow kids to represent, have that. So all the dolls, they're life size. Like if you pick them up, they're 3 pounds. It's like you're holding literally a 3 to 6 month old child. They wear regular baby clothes. Wow. But some have braids, some have twists, they have different curls. Because what I love is for a child to walk by and be like, that doll looks like me. Right. We don't have anything that really looks like us. And anytime I see that, people are like, I want to be able to give my child, my grandchild, or myself, because I have a lot of people that are just collectors. I want to be able to have a doll that looks like me. And, that all ties into history as well, because it's all about being able to connect to what we're seeing in the world. And I just want to allow that to contribute to it.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. And you know what? It just reminded me how we have come a long way. There was a time, I was a child at one point, believe that or not, but growing up, I went to Barbizon School of Modeling. And look at the screen. The three of us are 3 different complexions, right? Mm-hmm. I happen to be the most toasted one.
Of all the descriptions.
I'm a little more toasted. I was in the oven a little bit longer. But they didn't even have a shade of makeup that even came close to Kimberly's skin, right? And so now I am 13, 14, and I have to put on makeup that looks lighter than you. This way, yeah. And so I looked like a clown, obviously, with makeup that was, I learned how to apply it, but I hated the way I looked in makeup. And it wasn't until many, many, many years later that they started to formulate makeup for skin colors like mine. They had some for Kimberly, they had some for Shani, but they didn't have any for me. And so I always looked, those of you out there who know what I'm talking about, ashy, like I needed some lotion, or that I had dropped the whole bag of flour on my face. And so to see the difference in the different kinds of shades of makeups we have now, as well as the dolls that look like me, it's the same as that feeling was the same as going to Nairobi and everyone looked like me. It does something to you. It makes you stand up taller. It makes you have a little bit more confidence. And so I love that you have that going on, Kimberly. I really, really love that. So talk to more about your experience being in this business and what kind of customers, you know, what kind of customers, what kind of goals you have coming up. What's your long-term goal now?
I would say there's a number of different business related goals. Ultimately, the goal is to have the apparel be mainstream.
Yes.
I've got nationwide contracts existing already with like the VA hospital, as well as with AAFES, which is the Army Air Force Exchange Services.
Yeah.
Working on getting to a point where I can use those contracts and actually have the product in all of their stores. Right now, I'm going and I'm presenting, but to be able to have it as a normal, you have the Army cap, you have the Navy cap, you have the Tuskegee Airman cap, where it's already in their mainstream. Also looking at trying to leverage the partnership that the Negro League Baseball Museum has with Major League Baseball, as well as because all major league teams do Negro League night at least one day a night, having the opportunity to be in the presence at that particular game, as well as, again, have the product. If the Philadelphia Phillies, right next to that, have the Philadelphia Stars, the Detroit Tigers, the Detroit Stars, the New York Yankees, the Black Yankees. So anywhere that you go that actually sells apparel for that city's team, there's the Black team is also represented. Long term, that's ultimately the plan.
Okay, that sounds really, really phenomenal. How about, have you reached out to any of the players, like on LinkedIn, and said, "Hey, this is what we need to do. I'm in if you're in."
The players, as far as Major League Baseball or Negro League Baseball. Okay, we actually years ago did have a direct contact to Major League Baseball, but you know, people switch jobs and somebody else comes in and divisions are different. So actually, there are people that are working with us now to try to make that connection again. As far as individual players, I don't have a connection with like a specific players. So yet.
So out there in IBM TV land, we are looking for mainstream for this apparel. We are looking for mainstream. If you hear me out there, holla if you hear me out there. We are looking for mainstream in apparel for the Negro Leagues, as well as all of the dolls, as well as all of the wares that Kimberly Green and Black have. So if you know somebody, if you know something, if you see something, say something. My son Torian Coppage is out there. He said, Tyrod Taylor. You got a connection with Tyrod, baby? Hook us up. Kimberly Green's numbers are right down here, 856-599-8411. That's who you need to call. So Tyrod Taylor, he gave you that name, Kimberly. Reach out to Tyrod and see if he won't be interested in making it a mainstream occurrence. That would be great. Love it. Love it. We're here all about connections. We're here all about talking to Kimberly Green, and Shani Smith is so quiet tonight?
Because I'm just so intrigued by all this information. One thing I do want to know, and I want you to share with the guests, is how did you pivot? Since a lot of your work, clearly you have an online presence, but a lot of your work and your connections with people are in person. How did you pivot? And how are you still pivoting during this pandemic?
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to change the word because that's a question we get asked all the time. How did you pivot?
Yeah.
And instead of saying pivot, I actually prefer the term adapt and change, because if you're pivoting, you're actually turning away from the goal. And we want to continue to move forward. You just have to kind of find a different way to do it. We've always had a very basic online presence. And, you know, my initial website was almost garbage. I built it myself, WordPress. It was awful, but it was functional. But there wasn't really I wasn't really focused on trying to make it better, because 40 weeks a year, I'm on the road dealing with people in person. So I was like, get the stuff now, but if you have to get it later, here's our website. Well, COVID. So the first thing was, we've always over the years gotten people's names and email addresses, because I've always kept in contact. You know, we do things nationwide. So we want to let people know when we're going to be back in California or Detroit or New Orleans or Miami or wherever we're going to be. So we've always kept that information. And then when we've done things online as far as sales, we've kept that rapport going. So that really came in handy, because, you know, we've still got a base of 15,000 people that I can still reach out to, even in COVID.
Wow.
Now, I had to completely rebuild the website, which took probably about a month, because we thought COVID was going to be 2 months. We're like, okay, well, we're off, you know, we take 2 months off, you know, then we'll be back on the road. And the world was like, nah.
You were the only one who thought that.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it was like, yo, this is going to be like, this is for real. So it was that. And then everything happened with George Floyd. And everybody started shopping Black. It was the amount of support, and all of our social media, I started doing a lot of promotion really heavily on social media. And we started getting an outpouring of support, because people were like, anything Black. Just,
it was a tsunami.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, it was
Exactly.
it was a storm. It was
exactly
the perfect storm. Really, what what happened.
You know, and it's a terrible storm.
Yeah,
but it was the perfect situation, because it opened people up. People that would never have thought about us before were now receptive to us. I mean, my company name is Black.
Yeah.
So that in itself, you know, and it wasn't just people of color, you know, because it was also, we deal with in person and online, a lot of white guilt, where people are like, you know what, I think it was terrible that, you know, the Negro Leagues, that they wouldn't let them play, or that they wouldn't let them fly, or they would. And I'm like, well, that's cool. You know, I appreciate the support. Just don't feel guilty about it, because you specifically didn't do anything. But don't come and apologize to me. Talk to the people that are still out there doing crazy stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. Say, hey, I don't see color, because you're not going to walk up to somebody white and say you don't see color. You're only going to say that to somebody Black. You know, and if you think of it, because if you think about it, there are particular things. Oh, you're so well spoken. No. English is my native language. So unless I'm 2 years old,
you are
English
so
is my
funny,
second
Kim.
language. I'm articulate.
English is not my second language. It's my native language.
Right. If English was like my third and you say I'm well spoken, well then yes, thank you. I appreciate that you can understand me. But if I was born speaking this my whole life, no, I'm not well spoken. You know, that's that's another show.
I know. Listen, you talking out my lane, but before we get to that, I want to. Pills in Ibiza. I have some trivia for you ladies. Type it in for me then if you have it. And my son says he's going to reach out to some contacts. Thanks, Tori and Cop Holmes, for reaching out to your contacts on behalf of Kimberly Green. Now, here comes my favorite part. You have some stuff that you can fashion show for us. I want the people to see what you have. You just picked a couple of items. You don't want to give us a whole fashion show, unfortunately, but she does have some articles. Remember, you have a code until Thursday. It's BHS on the coupon code. Put in BHS, and she's going to give you 20% off on all apparel today through Thursday. But show the folks, Kimberly, some of the stuff you have. First, talk about what you got on. NLBM.
First, can you see me? Can you
Yeah.
see me full? Okay. So this is our Negro League commemorative jersey. The NLBM officially stands for Negro League Baseball Museum. The 20 is 1920, the year that the team was established. But what I tell people, I said, if you buy this, and this is the back, has all the team on it, and it says Discover Greatness.
Yeah.
Now, what I tell people, I said, if you get this jersey, know that the NLBM is Negro League Baseball Museum. But if somebody asks, you tell them it stands for Nothing Like a Black Man.
Ooh,
That's
I
just
love
me. That's
it.
just my remix.
Love it.
I love it.
You gotta
I
be
love
creative
it.
with it.
Did they tell you should have been a
So a couple
comedian as
things.
well?
I'm part-time. Like I'm good at situational comedy, but I could never stand up and say, funny thing happened to me on the way to the, But so a couple things that I'll show. This is a Buffalo Soldiers embroidered hooded sweatshirt. Let's see, this way.
Yeah, that way. Hold it right there. Hold it still.
Right.
Yeah, and then move back just a little bit. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah, that's hot right there. Buffalo Soldiers. It's a sweatshirt, a hoodie.
Buffalo Soldiers.
Does it
Yes,
anything
no,
on the back?
it's a hoodie.
Okay, cool.
This one does not. Pretty much everything we have does have something on the back, but this one, the embroidery is so heavy on the front that if you put heavy on the back too, it was, people will complain that it was too much. Like, if you have something behind you, how it bothers you on the back.
Yeah. So how much is that one?
So next, I'm going to show you a
How much is that?
Tuskegee Airmen.
How much was that sweatshirt?
The what is this sweatshirt? That is $85.
Okay, cool.
Great price. And we get 20% off the BHS
20% off. Next,
apparel code.
this is hard doing this on the hanger. This is a Tuskegee Airmen windbreaker.
Oh,
Now listen, my dad got that shipped so fast from you last week, and he wore that Monday. He got so many compliments. The quality is great. It really shows up great. I love it.
And everything is embroidered. Nothing is screened or ironed on.
I like that one. It's a windbreaker?
Yes.
Yes. And it is waterproof.
How much is that one?
And we have the same windbreaker. I have it in the Negro League too, but I forgot to bring it up. So this is the Buffalo Soldiers one.
I like that.
I love it.
Soldiers, man.
Now the only thing, I'm sorry about sharing your website with him, because now I don't have anything to give him. Because he's already ordered everything he wants, so you're going to be shipping to him like once a week.
As new things come in, I'll send them to you before he can tell.
Okay.
This is our newest. This is the newest item. This is actually the heavyweight wool jacket, which I had to snag one of these for myself because it's absolute fire.
Ooh.
And this thing weighs about 1,000 pounds.
So I'm gonna get stronger with it on.
What size does that come? What's the largest size that comes in?
Everything I go up to 5X.
Good.
I know everybody's not little.
That is, oh my gosh, and that's the back?
That's beautiful.
That is phenomenal. Negro League Baseball.
Oh. Yep, and then they all have the Nothing Like a Black Man on. I mean, I'm sorry, Negro League Baseball Museum logo on it.
That one's heavy.
And then
how much is that one? Before you go to the next one.
that one's $185.
Okay.
$185. And then if you got leather, you want to do.
That's a bomber. Oh my gosh. My dad would have loved that. U.S. Army, Buffalo Soldiers. Oh my gosh. That is phenomenal.
And the thing with the leather jackets, can't tell. They have the history on the inside.
Oh my goodness.
You can't really see it from
Yes,
this
you
angle,
can. That's crazy good.
You can, it's detailed on the website. It'll actually, so you can actually read it.
That is phenomenal.
And got one last item, which is like the NASCAR style Negro League jacket.
Okay.
And this one I really like. You really use this one for the Nothing Like a Black Man because it says Nothing Like a Black Man, Discover Greatness. All right there.
So
then you've got
which one is the most popular?
It depends on where we are.
Okay.
where the person lives from a weather standpoint,
Yeah.
if they're military, if they're
Yeah.
sports. There's so many different. Right now, the wool jacket that I just showed you, because
Yeah.
that's the newest release, things are gradually coming back into inventory because of supply chain challenges. So right now,
Yeah.
this is the newest item. This is the first brand new thing we've had come in this year.
And talk about that
Hopefully,
for a minute.
we've
Talk about that for a minute. The supply chain challenges that most organizations have experienced because of COVID. How did that really affect you?
Well, it only affected us to a degree because we buy a lot.
Okay.
And when COVID, when COVID hit last year, we had fully stocked because we were doing the MEAC basketball tournament. And we were in the middle of, we were in day 2 of MEAC. On Wednesday, the Major League, the NBA closed down. Thursday or Tuesday, we closed down the day after basketball did. So I had full inventory prepared to present to 20, 30,000 people.
Oh
my God. All of that sat. So that was also why we were in rebuilding the website. So there were a lot of things that I would still sell online. But fortunately, when things stopped and then when there were challenges, I was still sitting on a lot of inventory because I had purchased so much ahead in anticipation of the events that we had.
Right.
Even coming in now, I've always purchased in big numbers because we do events from whether I'm at a military base or we do jazz festivals that are up to 100,000 people. So you have to be prepared with the amount of product. Right. So there are some particular things that we're out of, like t-shirts. I won't see a t-shirt until February.
Wow.
Which is okay because, you know,
it's not t-shirt weather on this coast. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You know, so you just have to adapt and change. You have to be able to recognize, you know what, well, I don't have this, I don't have a t-shirt, but I have a hat, I have a jersey, I have a jacket, you know, so all of the things, and people don't really know what you don't have unless you say it.
Right. And I want you to give a shout out to the young entrepreneurs out there. We have a lot of young people out there that are starting businesses or thinking about starting businesses. What's one piece of advice that you would give to them if you had something that you could only tell them this one thing?
I really stress this with young entrepreneurs, but I actually tell it to anybody that's starting a business because, you know, sometimes people are negative. Don't ever accept criticism from somebody you would not go to for advice.
Ooh, say it again slow. Don't have
people in the back. One more time for the people in the back.
Do not ever accept criticism ever from somebody that you would not go to for advice. Because people will be quick to shoot down your ideas, but they don't have any themselves.
And people that are sitting on the couch, not the ones you need to ask about business advice.
Exactly. And people that have never done a business.
Oh my gosh. I don't think that's a good idea, baby. Have you ever had a business? Have you ever thought about having a business? Do you know anybody that has a business? All right, then. You know that's what I say.
You know, that's why you don't see chickens and chickens and eagles. You know, eagles are so high up here that they don't have time to be down there with all y'all down there clucking, not doing anything, not about anything. We're up there trying to see the world and do big things.
You speaking my language. I want to thank you once again, Kimberly Green, for being on with us. Give us your information one more time for the people in the back that didn't hear it the first time.
People in the back. Go to Black, B4U Black, letter B, number 4, letter U.com to buy stuff. Tonight, tomorrow, up until midnight on Thursday, BHS, Miss Barbara H. Smith. If you use that coupon code, it'll give you 20% off of all apparel. Everything is licensed also so that you know it's not just a Black-owned company, but money does go back to support all these other organizations that are represented. The Negro League Museum, Buffalo Soldier Museum, Airmen Association, all of that. So there's a lot of support being thrown out there. All of my social media is at Black B4U, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, whatever your preference is, I got you.
It is so wonderful to have you on. We have some phenomenal guests coming up next week. Don't you miss it. Don't you miss it. I also want to shout out one more time the Black Business Expo. The Black Business Expo is presenting the Black Business Olympics is going to be presented 6 times this year. And the dates are as follows: January 17th through the 23rd, March the 21st through the 27th, May 16th through the 22nd, July 18th through the 24th, and September 19th through the 25th, and November 14th through the 20th. This time last year or this year, more than 600,000 people attended. And there were 500 speakers, over 500 speakers throughout the entire year. They're going to be presenting their businesses to the entire world. The Black Business Expo is one of the largest Black business showcases in the history of Black America and in the world. You don't want to miss it. Be there or be square. That's my time. We're out of here. Thank you so much, Shani. Thank you so much, Kimberly Green, and everybody that's tuned in. We appreciate you being out there. Stay tuned for next week's show. We got more exciting guests. That's it. You know what time it is, right? Time for you to step into your greatness because the world is waiting for you. That's my time. Good night.
Good night, all.